Penguin Random House Audio presents The Other Wife, a novel by Jackie Thomas Kennedy. Read for you by Nicole Lewis. For M. I will go to X and say, "I'll let you have me," and he will laugh and say, "You're 20 years too late." The Journals of John Cheever. I don't want to be older and wiser. I want to be younger and hotter. A love story. Melissa Broder. So sad today. Prologue. Long before I settled in this part of the world, I was a guest. And everything was so unfamiliar to me that I had to be led. Here's how to buy the Metro North ticket and how to find your train. Here's where to sit if you want to see the river. My friend Claire convinced me that we should visit her parents, largely because we were sick of the campus salad bar. I was unprepared for how much I would covet the house I was about to enter, where some of the windows were stained glass and there was a fireplace snapping with flames in the dining room. The family served Pernod before dinner and played charades after dessert, which was a bowl of walnuts and clementines, the shells and peels left all over the table, because the cleaning lady was due at 8 the following day. When I came downstairs in the morning, the lady was there, Claire's mother beside her, one washing, one drying, NPR on the radio. A cigarette burned in a pink saucer on the windowsill. Hip to hip, the two women chatted like friends. "This is Zuzu," Claire's mother said, introducing me. I didn't want to get too close to their maid. I saw that we used the same kind of bobby pins, although hers were at her temples, where her curls were gray, and mine were anchoring a loose twist. Instead of a handshake, I offered a nod and took my coffee outside, where I picked ivy out of the bird bath while I waited for Claire to wake up. When I think of that evening, the tumbler glazed with Pernod, the sting of clementine juice on my chapped fingers, the way Claire and I cheated at charades, I recall feeling a smug certainty that I could have that life, inhabit a house like that one, with wainscoting in the kitchen and parents who delighted in their children. I believed that life was easy enough to find. I believed this until we skipped Friday classes and took another train, this time to the city. We sat across from Claire's father, who bought us buttered Bialys before he unfolded the New York Times. I'd never had a Bialy before, and I devoured mine, while Claire was inspecting hers for too much onion. Until that point, her father had left no meaningful impression on me, other than his general tidiness. He'd had his shoes polished while we waited for the train, and I could smell his aftershave. When he put on his glasses, I saw that the case was old, its gilded letters mostly rubbed away. As we approached Grand Central, he told us he'd have to run to his first meeting, several blocks from the terminal. He stood, briefcase in hand, and Claire tilted her head back. I did the same. I thought we were looking for something. In fact, she was waiting for her father to kiss her forehead, which he did, after which he kissed mine, a gesture of fairness and kindness, a good man's goodbye. The kiss was chaste, dry-lipped, paternal, and brief. It had nothing of lust in it. It had nothing of my father in it either. The kiss promised me nothing. Nothing, at a time when I wanted everything. The kiss said, "You can always visit." And I did not want to be a visitor. When I opened my eyes, I found my friend loathsome and spoiled. I saw that a comfortable life awaited her, that she would cycle out of this phase and into the next. That soon she would stand hip to hip with her cleaning lady while her husband rode the train. Everything she needed had already been gathered for her like a basket of kindling. Claire and I lost touch decades ago, and her family moved away. If I ran into her now, say at Grand Central, Bialy in hand, it might surprise her to learn that I spent years in the town of her youth, that I chose it as the place to raise my son. I doubt she'd recall that moment on the train. That kiss she was used to receiving. A kiss she was happy to share. She couldn't know how it followed me. How, for some reason, every time I passed a shoeshine stand, I felt a warm blooming of my own potential. How, even after I married Agnes Blair, part of me wanted to know how it felt to have a husband who read the paper on the commuter rail. I did know what it was like to have a wife who took the day's first train into the city. I knew what it was like to assemble the exact salad she'd asked for, to boil the eggs and slice the tomatoes, to whisk the olive oil into the lemon juice, to wash and spin the lettuce, to hear her say, "I'm too tired to eat that, I'll just have toast." To watch her leave the bag of bread open on the counter overnight, crumbs everywhere, twist tie, lost. I knew what it was like to become someone who cared, perhaps too much, about the lost twist tie on the bag of sourdough. It turned out that even though I had chosen the house and the particular green of its newly painted shutters, I could still pace inside it, wondering why I was the only married woman on the block who ate alone every night. Agnes routinely texted from Grand Central as she ran to catch the 8:33. The firm reimbursed her for car service at that hour, but she preferred the train, which was bright and cold and better for work than a warm, private space that would have allowed her to sleep. A fair question might be what I was doing with the time Agnes spent on the train. She never asked me, and I never had to say that after the things I was proud of, quizzing Gideon on his beloved dinosaur facts over spaghetti, heating towels in the dryer for him while he was in the tub, lying in the top bunk, as he liked me to do, while he fell asleep below, I spent the remaining hours of the night tending to habits she rarely saw. At 37 years old, I'd established an evening routine. I ate cinnamon toast and drank chocolate milk with lots of ice in the glass. I watched Sex and the City episodes I had fully memorized. I texted back and forth with James Cashel, my friend from college, who went by Cash, and whose wife was almost as busy as mine. It turned out I could count the days since Agnes and I had touched each other. When I reached 60, I saw it was better not to count. To remember what it felt like to lie next to someone who wanted me, I passed over Agnes entirely. Even the first few years in New York. I resorted to earlier parts of my life, to the pre-Agnes window. The guy who stole limes from his neighbor to make me a gin and tonic. The one who hid my shoes in the sink when he wanted me to stay longer. Cash. The first time and the second time. I happened to know that I was thinking about this somewhat compulsively in the first week of February 2019. The texts are still on my phone. I initiated them after months of silence between us, attributable to being busy and to not having much to say. I texted him after 3 glasses of Riesling and a hot shower. Agnes was working in our bedroom. Gideon was asleep. Zuzu. How much do you miss me? Scale of 1 to 10. Cash. Who is this? Zuzu. Very funny. What are you doing? Cash. Emptying the dishwasher. Cash. For the first time in 6 years. Cash. According to Molly. Cash. Who is sitting on the couch. Cash. Also for the first time in 6 years. Zuzu. Feelings.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?